If you've ever looked around a room and thought, everyone here seems smarter than me, this video is going to mess with your self-image, in a good way. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. People with extremely high IQs almost never feel intelligent. They don't walk around thinking, wow, my brain is impressive. Most of the time they assume they're average, or even behind. And that's not insecurity. That's awareness. Intelligence doesn't announce itself loudly. It hides in habits, in reactions, in how your mind quietly works when no one's watching. If you naturally do even 3 of the habits in this video, your brain is processing reality in a way that most people never stop to notice. And fair warning, habit number 8 tends to hit a little too close to home. Habit number 1, they pause before they speak. In most conversations, speed is mistaken for intelligence. The first person to speak sounds confident. The loudest voice feels convincing. But high IQ people don't play that game. They pause. Sometimes just long enough to make people uncomfortable. Long enough for someone else to jump in and fill the silence. Long enough to be quietly underestimated. And here's the funny part, they're not slow at all. While everyone else is reacting, their mind is already sorting information. They're checking context, intent, tone, and consequences in real time. It's like their brain runs a background process before every sentence. That's why when they finally speak, it often sounds complete. Not rushed. Not impulsive. They don't talk to think. They think before they talk. Which is also why they're okay with silence. To them, silence isn't awkward. Unnecessary words are. Habit number 2. They question things most people accept. Highly intelligent people are often described as difficult. Not because they want to challenge authority, but because their brain resists unsupported conclusions. You say, that's just how it works. Their mind immediately asks, according to who? They're not trying to be annoying. They're genuinely uncomfortable with shallow explanations. This shows up everywhere. At work, they question processes no one else questions. In conversations, they push ideas one layer deeper. In life, they hesitate to follow rules that don't make sense. And yes, this can make them unpopular. Because while most people prefer certainty, high IQ individuals prefer understanding. They don't argue to win. They argue to clarify. Habit number 3. They notice patterns others walk right past. To a highly intelligent brain, the world isn't random. It's patterned. They notice repeating behaviors in people, cycles in relationships, predictable outcomes in systems that others call bad luck. They'll say things like, I've seen this before, long before anyone else realizes what's happening. And when events unfold exactly as they expected, people assume it's intuition. It isn't. It's accumulated observation quietly doing its job. The downside, once you start seeing patterns, you can't stop. You notice when conversations are going nowhere, when decisions are about to backfire, when outcomes are already written, which makes life fascinating and occasionally exhausting. Habit number 4. They feel compelled to fix broken systems. Put a highly intelligent person inside a badly designed system and watch what happens. They won't complain out loud. They won't roll their eyes dramatically. They'll go quiet. And while everyone else is trying to just deal with it, their brain is already redesigning the entire thing. It could be a work process with 5 unnecessary steps. A family group chat where nothing ever gets decided. A meeting that somehow lasts an hour to answer a question that needed 5 minutes. Most people adapt. High IQ people optimize. They don't just see a problem, they see the structure that created the problem. So while others are saying, that's just how it works, they're thinking, no, that's just how it's always been done. And that difference matters. This is why they often suggest shortcuts no one asked for. Why they reorganize systems they didn't create. Why they get mildly irritated when inefficiency is treated like a personality trait. To them, fixing systems isn't about control. It's about relief. Broken systems feel mentally noisy. Fixing them feels calming. Habit number 5, they learn in strange, unrelated combinations. If you ever look at their interests, they don't make sense at first. One week it's psychology, next week ancient civilizations. Then suddenly they're watching a video about how airplanes land in crosswinds. It looks scattered. It isn't. Highly intelligent people don't learn to memorize facts. They learn to build mental maps. They want to understand how different systems think. That's why they jump between unrelated topics. They're searching for patterns between fields. They're not trying to master everything. They're trying to understand how knowledge connects. This is also why they explain ideas using weird analogies that somehow work. They'll compare emotions to software updates. relationships to economics, life decisions to chess or architecture. It's not randomness. It's cross-training for the brain. Habit number 6, they think in mental simulations. You call it overthinking. They call it preparation. Highly intelligent people don't just make decisions, they mentally rehearse them. Before sending a message, they imagine how it might be read. Before saying something important, they test how it could land. Before making a big move, they run through outcomes like a movie trailer. Best case, worst case, and the awkward version no one talks about. This doesn't mean they're anxious. It means they think in scenarios, not impulses. So when something goes wrong, they don't panic. They've already mentally visited that outcome, which is why they often look calm during situations that stress everyone else out. Their nervous system has already been there. Habit number 7, they require silence the way others require sleep. For many people, silence feels awkward. For highly intelligent people, silence feels necessary. After too much noise, conversation, or stimulation, their brain feels cluttered, like having 47 tabs open and no idea which one is playing music. So they withdraw. Not to isolate, to reset. This is when thoughts organize themselves. This is when clarity returns. They might go quiet after social events. They might disappear for a day. They might seem distant without explanation. They're not ignoring anyone. They're processing life. Silence isn't emptiness to them. It's maintenance. Habit number 8, they are painfully self-aware. This is the habit that causes the most internal friction. Highly intelligent people notice their own mistakes immediately. They replay conversations. They analyze decisions. They spot flaws in their own logic faster than anyone else could point them out, which means criticism doesn't hit them the same way. They already criticized themselves. This level of self-awareness fuels growth, but it also creates pressure. They don't compare themselves to others as much as they compare themselves to their own potential. And that's exhausting. They don't fear failure. They fear stagnation. That's why they can seem intense, hard on themselves, or never fully satisfied. Their mind is always asking, could this be better? Habit number 9, they organize life around energy, not time. Highly intelligent people eventually realize something most people don't. You can't manage time. You can only manage mental energy. They know exactly when their brain works best, and when it doesn't. They schedule deep thinking for high-energy moments. They leave simple tasks for low-energy periods. They don't force focus when the mind is tired. This is why they can seem oddly productive without looking busy. They respect cognitive limits. They don't hustle harder. They align smarter. And over time, that creates consistency without burnout. Habit number 10, they know how to sound normal. Here's the final and most misunderstood habit. Truly intelligent people don't sound intelligent. They simplify. They adjust language depending on who they're talking to. They avoid jargon. They explain ideas in ways that feel accessible. Not because they lack depth, because they understand something crucial. Real intelligence isn't about impressing people. It's about helping people understand. They know that clarity creates connection. And ironically, this is why many high IQ people are underestimated, by choice. If several of these habits felt familiar, don't rush to label yourself or dismiss it. Intelligence doesn't always show up as confidence, titles, or test scores. Sometimes it shows up quietly in how you think, process, and move through the world. So now I'm curious. Which habit felt the most accurate for you? Drop the number in the comments. You might be surprised how many people here have been underestimating themselves, quietly this whole time.